Hi everyone, and welcome to Jane Talks Real. It's Trek Tuesday, where I will be discussing and reviewing an episode of the original series, The Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, or Enterprise. Today I'm looking at Riddles from Voyager's 6th season, or as I like to call it, that time Tuvok and Neelix were BFFs. The episode begins with Neelix being bored in the shuttle and annoying Tuvok with his tapping. Neelix wants to play a game, but Tuvok isn't interested, so instead he suggests a riddle, which Tuvok finally gives into. He can't work it out because it was basically a pun, and goes to the back of the shuttle for some peace. As soon as he sits down, Tuvok detects something weird with the computer and goes towards it, reading a cloaking frequency that he's not able to convey to Neelix before he's shot. Neelix sends a distress call to Voyager and tries to help Tuvok, and into the credits we go. Janeway and Neelix are rushing around trying to help the Doctor help Tuvok, but nothing seems to be working until he finally stabilizes, and Janeway wants answers. Neelix stresses that he didn't follow procedure, but Janeway assures him that he did the right thing and saved Tuvok's life. The Doctor says he needs to run some scans, but it would help to know more about the weapon Tuvok was attacked with, and Janeway tells Neelix to speak to the aliens him and Tuvok went to see. Some dude, Narok from the alien security, comes for a visit, and he looks familiar somehow. Let me just take a look. Okay, he was Henry Archer in Enterprise. He reckons that Tuvok got attacked by a xenophobic race of shadow people known as the Beneth. There have been lots of incidents, but Narok says nothing has been done about it because the Beneth are thought not to exist. Janeway asks how he is sure they do exist, and Narok explains the attack on Tuvok fits the previous attack's pattern, which doesn't really answer the question. Janeway mentions that Tuvok's tricorder was destroyed because he'd picked up a cloaking frequency, which excites Narok because this might help prove his theory about the Beneth. But what is that on his neck? It looks painful AF. Narok scans Tuvok while the Doctor explains that he's suffered brain damage, but Narok says he's got more brain function than any other victim so far. Janeway takes him out of sickbay to go poke around the shuttle, while Neelix stays behind and offers to help because he's worried about Tuvok. The Doctor gives in and says that Neelix can help by trying to talk Tuvok awake.
If anyone can provoke Tuvok, Mr. Neelix, it's you.
Neelix takes his assignment seriously and brings pretty much the entire contents of Tuvok's quarters to sickbay to try to stimulate him. Neelix tries his best with Calto, a book, and some flowers, but it's the music that finally gets on the Doctor's nerves. The Doctor tells him to shut the music off, so he does, but rise and shine, good morning Tuvok! He's very jumpy and doesn't want the Doctor to scan him, so Neelix steps in to help. Meanwhile, on the shuttle, Narok and his Viewmaster has found something which is a lot of science nonsense. But basically, because he's been able to get to Voyager so quickly, he's been able to pick up a signal which will allow his scanner to identify the Beneth. Seven Borg explains that she can do better, and does, making Narok very happy. Janeway says she wants the scanner hooked up to the deflector dish, but Narok points out they still need the cloaking frequency, which is in Tuvok's head. Unfortunately, Tuvok's head doesn't have any memories in it, and he can't speak either, but Neelix is sure that he can get him back to normal.
Don't worry, Captain. Tuvok will be back to his old self before you can say live long and prosper.
Neelix takes Tuvok to visit the bridge, but he almost blows something up and Harry tells him off, so Neelix ushers him out again and takes him to his quarters. Janeway puts the new scanner to the test, only to find themselves surrounded by Beneth ships. They open fire, then do a runner, but Voyager goes after them, and the ensuing firefight scares Tuvok under the table. Neelix promises he'll be safe with him, and Seven tries to get the cloaking frequency of the Beneth, but they bugger off. After the attack is over, Tuvok finds his voice and recognizes Neelix.
You're Neelix. I'm safe with you.
Narok wants to know the frequency from Tuvok, but Neelix thinks he's too vulnerable to be interrogated. Nevertheless, he's brought in, and while Janeway is delicate, Narok gets all up in his face. Tuvok remembers the attack, but not the frequency, and Narok is kicked out for being annoying. Harry reintroduces Tuvok to Calto, but he collapses the pieces.
I don't like this game.
And storms off. Tuvok reads up on himself in the data files, but he says he's not that person anymore because they won't let him work on the bridge. He says he's not smart enough and gets upset, but Neelix tells him to be patient. Tuvok says the Doctor doesn't know how to fix him, and bitch slaps Neelix and flips over the table in a rage. The Doctor tells Neelix to leave as he tries to calm down Tuvok. Neelix runs into 7 of 9 in the mess hall, who is pondering how to find the Beneth, and Neelix confides in her that he's struggling to help Tuvok. 7 says he might not be able to fix Tuvok and compares his ordeal to her experience being severed from the hive mind. She suggests stop trying to make Tuvok what he was and instead find out what he can do now, and Neelix goes back to sickbay where Tuvok presents him with a gift and apologises for shouting at him. Neelix in turn apologises for trying to push him too hard and explains that he can do some things better now, like be creative, and Tuvok is sad to hear that him and Neelix weren't friends before his accident. They bond over smiling.
I like to smile.
And it's super adorable, and Tuvok asks to learn to do the things Neelix likes to do, so it's straight to the mess hall. Tom and Harry are impressed with Tuvok's cooking, but he only makes dessert because
They taste good.
the captain comes in and Tuvok feeds her before going off to work on a cake. Janeway asks him if he's remembered anything more, and he gets flashes of what happened, but he's clearly stressed as she bombards him with questions. However, when he presents her with the cake, Tuvok has iced the cloaking frequency on the top. With the new information, Voyager rocks up to the Beneth system where they detect a huge cloaked thing in space and use their deflector modification to light it up like a Christmas tree. The outpost opens fire, but Janeway threatens to give their location to Narok's people, so they stop. Janeway asks for information about the weapon that was used on Tuvok and offers some tactical data in exchange. But the Beneth say not to trust Narok and want him eliminated. Narok, in a bid to protect Voyager, offers the technology that allowed them to see through their cloak, and they agree. Tuvok is in his quarters listening to jazz
It really swings.
when Neelix comes to visit. Tuvok invites him to go to a water park on the holodeck, and no, seriously, can I come? But Neelix says not right now because the doctor has devised treatment thanks to the Beneth. Tuvok is disappointed and says he doesn't want to go back to the way he was, he just wants to have fun and be friends with Neelix. Neelix says the old him can have fun, he just doesn't want to.
And how will you know how much I enjoy being with you?
You've just told me.
Neelix says they can still be friends, but the ship needs its tactical officer back, so Tuvok goes to sickbay. The two friends say goodbye before he undergoes surgery, and afterwards Neelix approaches the now restored Tuvok, who is his usual distant self, until he comes up with an alternative answer to Tuvok's riddle. This is my favourite episode of Voyager, which definitely surprised me seeing as it revolves around my two least favourite characters since Kes left. I find Tuvok boring and Neelix annoying, but when this simple episode about friendship came along, I absolutely loved it. Pretty much all other characters take a backseat, which allows Tuvok and Neelix to explore a different side of their friendship. It's been an ongoing struggle between these two, and while Neelix is the same encouraging, sympathetic character he always is, he's not overbearing or annoying in any way. Tim Russ does an excellent job playing Tuvok as a more childlike character, while still balancing the complex emotions of someone who is trying to rediscover themselves. I don't really care about Narok or the Beneth as they're just a plot device, and that's fine, but it's the simplicity of the story culminating in Neelix having to let Tuvok go because he realises the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the Neelix. I was sad to see Tuvok restored at the end, but like Neelix, I'll have the memory of the short time we spent with fun Tuvok. And there you have it. That was Riddles. If there's an episode of Star Trek you'd like me to cover, then please pop it down in the comments below or come say hi on social media. If you enjoyed this video, then please hit that like button, it really does mean a lot. Or consider subscribing if you'd like to be assimilated into my channel. Thank you so much for watching, I'll speak to you soon, and live long and prosper.